Good morning. I've got out here for the first time in a couple of weeks actually. You know how it goes, you fall down 4 times, get up 5, and there is always a way. I shared a blog post, I think yesterday. I wrote a piece about self-belief and your power as a divine creator of your own life. And this is not just something that I randomly have pulled out of thin air. It's actually lessons that I have learned through trial and error, through doing in my own life. And I wanted to speak today about one of those lessons that enables me to really lean on faith that everything will work out as long as I keep doing the mahi, the work. So back in 2011 I actually produced my very first fashion show, and it was a fashion show unlike anything Rotorua had ever seen, and I really cemented myself then in the creative community. And this fashion show, I've produced many since and been stylist for projects like Global Indigenous Runway Project, which was really cool. But this first one, that's where the foundations were set. And I made so many mistakes. And one of the biggest was the audience, because as everybody should know by now, I'm a pretty unique individual, and I attracted audience members from all communities, you know, all levels of society turned up at the seedy little bar that I'd chosen as my venue, and it rocked. It really rocked. And by that I mean I had punk rock, grunge music rocking the dance floor, mixed with high fashion and burlesque, and it was so cool. It was so unique. And half my audience, all the fancy people, walked out halfway through because of the way I arranged it, but hey, I bet they had a cool experience too, unlike anything they were expecting. And despite the sounds of that, it was an amazing success. It was my first introduction actually to body painting. I designed the final model of the fashion show, really cool friend, Stella, and she walked out surrounded by people in cloaks, angels and demons, and the theme of duality, dressed in lingerie of fire and ice, painted on, just a G-string, nothing else. So it was a beautiful moment, and really a walking work of art. But to get to that point, I had to work my way through a lot of setbacks, as I said, and the fashion show very nearly, for so many reasons, very nearly didn't go ahead. And if I'd let myself stay down, and if I hadn't kept walking that path that I was only half sure was actually before me, I would not be where I am today. So I want to share with you one particular instance that stands out in my mind from that really taught me this lesson. And it's when the body painter for that final piece fell through. and she had a family emergency come up. We'd been working together on this for months, and she had a family emergency and she had to leave and she couldn't be there. So this was 2 days before the event, and I'd built the entire final act. She was the final piece. She was already in town. She'd decided to make it a girls' weekend. I wasn't paying her. We were all collaborating on this on next to no money. And she had made it a girls' weekend. She was already in the hotel with her friends, looking forward to it. It was a dream of hers to be body painted. I was about to let down so many people, and I just could not do that. And so I started hunting. I rang every place I could think of. I called on every connection I could think of in order to try and find a replacement. But either no one called me back or they weren't available themselves. So I was pretty stressed out by this point, but I was not pulling the plug. And ticket sales hadn't been that great, but they'd started picking up too. So it was really at a point where I had no choice but to find a way. And so I kept moving and I kept producing, and I didn't know what the hell I was going to do about this body painter. But then I got a call the day before, and she said her name, and I'd actually left a message. I'd left a message for a person of the same name, and I just automatically assumed that it was her getting back to me. And so as soon as she said who she was, I said, oh great, you know, this is what I'm looking for, this is the issue, can you help me? And she just went silent, absolutely silent. And then she said, Karen, wow, the universe is really looking after you. I am not who you think I am. I'm calling because this person gave me your number and said you might be able to dress up as a fairy for a birthday party next week. So I was going to ask you to do that, but I run an agency and I have the perfect person. Let me see if she's available. So in exchange for a little bit of money, because what, you know, and my first job as a birthday party fairy the following week, my problem was solved and the show went on. So that story just really drove home to me that as long as you don't give up, when everything looks like it might be impossible, if you just keep moving, if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, then the universe will look after you. Something magical will happen to open up the landscape if it's meant to be, and if you don't give up, and if you just keep believing in yourself and using that blind faith, go forward. Oh, it's not all blind faith, especially not when you have memories like that to lean on. I know deep in my heart, deep in my soul, that we are in creative co-creation with the universe, with this beautiful divine power that opens doors and opens hearts and opens opportunities and gifts you things on a silver platter if you only give the gift in return of using your power and believing in yourself first, and walking, putting one foot in front of the other, doing the mahi, doing the work, you will get the treats. Have a fab day. Bye.